Hello, how are you? Thank you so much for coming back and your interest in video number 3 here. Bear with me. Let me do my introduction. Who am I? I am Bobby LaHaye. I am a wife. I've been married to Scott for 10 years. I'm a mother. We have 3 young kids, Sophia, Braden, and Brody. I'm an online health and fitness coach. My team and I hold online fitness and accountability groups every couple weeks. There's a new one starting. I am also a business mentor. I help people to start their own business and do what I'm doing, help their friends to live a happier, healthier life. But what are we doing here, you're asking, right? I read a book, minimize myself, His Needs, Her Needs, How to Affair-Proof Your Marriage. It's written by Willard F. Jr. Harley. And once I read it, I knew I had to share it with anyone who would listen. It's just such great information, such practical information that I knew this book would change people's marriages and people's lives. And I'm all about helping people to be happier, to live happier lives. Who doesn't want to live a more fulfilled marriage? You've chosen your best friend to marry. Let's make it great for the rest of your life, just like you said, right? Okay, so you've already seen video 1, the introduction. Video 2 are the first 2 needs, one for a male, one for a female. For a female, it's affection, and for a male, the first need is sexual intimacy, right? What are the next 2? Well, for a woman, the next need is intimate conversation. Think, women call to talk to their friends, they call to talk to their mothers, they call to chit chat, right? That's what we do, we talk. I'm long-winded, I'll talk to anybody who will listen. I'll talk to people in the grocery store. Usually they're talking to me, they start with me, but I hold a conversation. I like to talk to people, right? Men don't do that. I've asked Scott before, hey, have you called so-and-so to see how they're feeling, to see how they're doing? Have you called your mom to talk to her? And he's like, boys don't do that. Guys don't do that. Guys don't call to talk to chit chat. Of course they call to talk to their mothers, but they don't call to chit chat. They call to check in, right? It's very quick. It's not a huge, long, drawn out conversation like women do, hours on the phone. So think back to when you were dating. Conversation was easy then because you were getting to know each other. And he was trying to figure out what was attractive to her. After marriage, conversation is less because he feels like he knows her. And because they're married, he has already proven that he cares. Since this is not a need for him, it is less of a concern. He doesn't see it as a necessity to just call or just to have long conversations like they enjoyed while they were dating. But guys, you have to think, conversation equals love bank units. Conversation is affection and caring. All right, it takes time to talk, right? You can't just get it out in a second. It takes time. Women want to be with a man that cares deeply for them. When she feels this kind of caring, she feels close to him. Conversation is just as important as affection is daily. So you have to hug and kiss your wife daily. You should tell her that you love her. You should give those words of affirmation every day, often. The conversation is just as important. Women need conversation daily. Especially coming from stay-at-home mom, when my husband walks in the door, I can't wait to talk to an adult. I've been talking and directing children all day. I want to talk about my day. So if you're a stay-at-home mom, I'm sure you can appreciate that. But thinking back again to when you were dating, you talked all of the time. So you're asking, how much time should we spend a week talking? Take a guess, how much? Couples who are deeply in love spend an average of 15 hours a week, carving out time out of their days to talk to each other. Now you're thinking, 15 hours? What? You're joking. How is that possible? Well, Harley says, if you want to maintain a love for each other, you should do what couples in love are doing. Set aside 15 hours a week to talk. All right, now break that down. That's only 2 hours a day. And then on the weekends, you add in an extra hour somewhere. Intimate conversation is what it needs to be. Intimate conversation, 15 hours a week. You should think of this as an investment in your marriage. Intimate conversation and affection go hand in hand. Conversation can be done in a variety of ways, right? You can do it at dinner, you can do it out on a date, you could do it over recreational activities, talking about your sports that you're playing, talking about games that are on TV, talking about books that you're reading. Think about if you could read a book together, if you could read a parenting book, a marriage book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Think of those kinds of things. If you could read a book together and then talk about it, the conversations you could have, making each other better, it'd be perfect. You could talk on the phone at lunch, call for 15 minutes during the day just to see how you're doing, check in. That was something we also talked about as affection. Makes sense. They're one in each other. All right, what is the importance of conversation? Now, there are many reasons why effective conversation is absolutely necessary in a marriage. The first one, all other emotional needs mentioned require conversation. Makes sense? If you're going to be open and honest, you need to talk. If you're going to give words of admiration, you need to talk. If you're going to do recreational activities, you need to talk. Your parenting, you need to talk about that. Conversations resolve conflicts. Marriage requires a mutual agreement. Conflicts over friends, relatives, financial problems, and disciplining children all need to be talked about. Okay, so most men can understand the need for these two, right? But many men don't understand why it's important. Remember, conversation in itself is important as a need for women. In other words, women need to talk. So keep in mind, intimate conversation is a woman's emotional need. It's one of the top. It's number 2, right? It's important to talk to a woman or to let her talk. It needs to be two-sided. It needs to be a conversation, not one talking at the other. Not just any conversation will do, though. It needs to be intimate conversation. A woman will fall in love with a man who is an expert at talking to her about her feelings, her past experiences, her present activities, and plans for the future. When she has the opportunity to express her concerns and options, she cannot resist him. The first emotional need that is met by affairs is intimate conversation. So if the husband won't have conversation, won't talk to his wife, she will go to work, let's say, or wherever she is, and if a man starts to show interest in what she is saying and she finds comfort in talking to a male friend, that is usually the first need that is met in an affair. So guys, you need to be asking questions such as, how are you feeling? What problems are you facing? How can I help you? What did I do that made you feel good or bad today? All right. Now this feels calculated, right? Let's stop for a second. If Scott walked in from his day at work and said, give me a hug and gave me a kiss and then said, how are you feeling? You know, I'd probably look and kind of laugh. And then if he said, what problems are you facing today? I would probably smack him across the face, or I would just start dying laughing and not take him serious, right? But these are the types of questions that you need to be formulating, that you need to be kind of asking. These are maybe not the questions you need to be asking verbally, but these are the questions that you need to be looking for answers to, right? How are you feeling? What are you thinking? How are you doing? It's personal. It needs to be personal conversation. That's intimate. Intimate is personal. Okay. Enemies of conversation. Now, some of these could be innocent. You don't even really realize you're doing them. Like making demands. Instead of making a demand for something, ask for help, right? So I have a little story. It's kind of funny. It was back when I was a restaurant manager. This guy who worked for me, James, if you're listening, maybe you remember this. He started laughing. I said, hey, James, can you wipe off this counter? Can you wipe off this counter? It's a question, right? And he said, you know, it's funny. You, my girlfriend, always ask me to do these things, but you're not really asking. You're telling me that this is what you want me to do. You're demanding, if you will, that this is what you want me to do. And I laughed and I said, well, you're right. I mean, it's really not negotiable that I've asked you to wipe off this counter. If this counter doesn't get wiped off, I'm coming back to you. You know, I have asked you to do it. But it's a more polite way to ask, right? So don't demand that something be done. Ask for it. Ask for help. Now, in a marriage, you can say no. You have that option. But ask. Don't demand that something be done. All right, don't be disrespectful. Don't roll your eyes. Don't accuse of bitching. You know, quit your bitching. Don't say that. That's not affection. It's not sexy to turn around and say, hey, quit your bitching. I don't like that. Nobody does. Nobody does, okay? Not just me. No female likes to be told to quit their bitching. If they're bitching, do something about it. Help them. Expressing anger. Don't talk about something when you're angry. Walk away, cool off, take a minute, and come back and talk about it. If you talk about it when you're angry, conversations that happen in anger can sometimes feel insane or absolutely abusive. You say things you don't mean. It doesn't help any. It hurts people's feelings. You don't want to do that. So if you get angry, walk away, come back, and talk about it rationally. Don't dwell on mistakes, past or present. So whenever we fail to take an opportunity to make your spouse happy, or if you do something that makes them unhappy, you see both sides, you missed an opportunity that would be helpful, or you've done something that makes them unhappy, you've made a mistake. Don't dwell on those mistakes. Pass them, walk on, move on. If you need help, you need to ask politely, right? Don't make demands, ask politely. Be respectful, don't do it in anger, and don't dwell on things that make you angry. Friends of conversation. Nothing does this better than talking about each other in a positive and encouraging way. The more that you learn about each other, the more that you'll support each other. Conversation to inform, investigate, and understand. So you need to talk to each other to inform each other about something that's happening in your day, the way you're feeling, the activities that need to go on for the day. You need to investigate each other's feelings, their personal feelings, their interests, their activities. You need to understand each other's personal feelings and interests and activities, right? I mean, I've kind of said the same thing over and over, but you need to understand each other. You need to talk about, to me, it's communication. We'll just leave it at that. I don't mean to ramble. Develop an interest in each other's favorite topics of conversation. So understand what each other likes. Even if it's not your interest, you need to understand and listen to what the other person likes. Understand their topics of conversation. Be balanced in your conversations. Don't interrupt each other. Look each other in the face. Don't have these conversations while you're watching TV unless it's a program that you are going to be talking about, you know, a program you watch together that brings on conversation. You don't want to have conversations, these intimate conversations in front of the TV while you're looking at your phone, and you need to make sure that you're making eye contact and that you're having great communication. It's a big part of marriage. Anyone would agree with that conversation. Oh, give each other undivided attention. That's what I said. Be looking at each other's eyes, right? All right, now it's important to know that if one of the spouses travels for work, even if you talk every day on the phone for a little bit, upon return, you must take the time to reconnect. Spend a few hours talking to each other and being affectionate. You need to carve that time out of your day and really be thankful that you're back home and that you're back together, and show each other that you're thankful that you're spending time together, that you've missed them. Even if it's every week and that's what you do, husband's gone Monday through Friday and comes back Saturday, Sunday, or he's gone Tuesday through Thursday, whatever, you need to, what happened? How are the kids? I really missed you. Hug and kiss and be affectionate. Take that time. Without this time, it may take days before she can feel close enough to make love, and then he's off again. Jobs that require a lot of travel wreak havoc on a marriage. The in and out pattern makes it difficult for the woman to maintain a sense of oneness. It takes work. You really have to focus on the reconnection every time you come home. Through conversation, a man let's start over. Through conversation, a man learns to meet many of the woman's needs. The conversation itself meets one of the woman's most important needs. It's number 2, right? Number 2 for a woman and her needs that need to be met in a marriage. Okay, but what's number 2 for a male? Second thing he cannot do without is recreational companionship. What does that mean? It's not uncommon for a woman while dating to go to sporting events, to go hunting or fishing or watch movies that she doesn't necessarily enjoy. And then, after they're married, the woman might try to change her husband's interests and activities and hobbies to something that she enjoys more. If the husband is resistant to her activities, then she would probably encourage him to do these activities without her, to go have a guy day, go out with the guys. Well, that's good. You have to know that men place a surprising amount of importance on recreational activities. All right, ladies, do you hear that? Men place a surprising amount of importance on recreational activities. When we're dating, recreational compatibility is usually a crucial criteria for a man when he's selecting his wife. In most cases, her interest in his activities seal the deal for marriage. Men treasure their recreational time. They plan for it and they look forward to it. It's February 3rd, maybe. I never know what the date is, but it's February 3rd. And just about any male that you know is excited for the Super Bowl, right? They're planning for the Super Bowl. They're planning what they're going to do for that event. They're looking forward to it. There are women who very well could be too, but that's a recreational activity. And most people are planning. Like for me, example, I know that my husband is looking forward to watching that game. First, he's a huge Denver Broncos fan, but it wouldn't matter who the teams are anyway, but is planning for that. Me, I'm planning for where are we going to watch it? What are we going to eat? Because I know that he's looking forward to it, that's something for him, right? Okay, move on. What makes it even better is when a man gets to spend this time with his wife. Recreational need is such a big deal that it's generally ranked second next to sex. So sex is number 1, recreational compatibility is number 2, right? This is important for a male. When men start to do their activities with other men, this allows him to enjoy those activities, but it also means that these activities are time spent without his wife present. Most men like to go hunting or fishing. They like movies that are violent or have sex in them, while most women look for romance. They like quieter activities like shopping, and they put less emphasis on the activities, but it's more about the event, right? It's the time spent. Women appreciate the time spent with each other. It's not necessarily about the event of shopping. It's the time spent with the company to go shopping. Many times in a marriage, the woman tries to clean up a man's act, right? Those are quotation marks. He's trying to clean up the act. So she might make him shave, or maybe he dresses differently, or so on. But when she tries to change his recreational life, he may conclude that she wants to spoil one of the only things that keeps him going. It's very important that your favorite recreational companion be your spouse. So find things that you can do together. You can participate in activities apart, that's fine, but only after you figure out what you can do together that's recreational. Take the time to make a list of activities that you each like to do, right? Each of you write down 15 activities that you like to do, and then figure out the 2 or 3 things that, maybe there's more, hopefully there is, but find 2 or 3 things that you both enjoy and start with those, right? So for us, we both like exercise. So we started to exercise together. We do it in the morning. That's just what works for us. We get up first thing, kids are still sleeping before we go to work, before the day starts. That is time spent for us together, right? We're together, we're exercising. Okay, we enjoy kayaking or being out on the water. So we have a goal for this spring that we're gonna buy kayaks for us and for the kids, and we're gonna go out and go kayaking together. Our children are finally old enough to bike ride, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna start to bike ride together as a family. Now, what are things on those 2 lists that you could put in the middle, that you could try to enjoy together? All right, well, if I look at this, basketball is never gonna be my thing. That can be Scott's. He enjoys it. I'll watch it with him, but for me to go out and play basketball with him in a setting that is going to be athletic, in a setting that he likes, well, I'll go out and shoot baskets and mess around with him and the kids, that's fine. But to actually go and play a game of basketball is never going to happen. Golf is on his side. However, I know that I would enjoy golf, but our kids are still a little bit too young to really golf. Sophie and Braden are old enough, they probably could. But it's something that we necessarily can't afford for all of us to do, to pay a babysitter to go out and go golfing, right? So for now, that's gonna stay on his side. I'm gonna work for that. That's on my goal sheet, absolutely, is I wanna be able to play golf with him, for him, and with our kids. All right, on my side, I have a goal for us, and he knows this, to do a book club that we're going to, I said this before, but read a book together, one that would benefit his business and one that would benefit mine, and talk about what we both got out of it. So we're both benefiting from that, right? We both like movies, but our movie tastes are different, and we can find some that we do together, but I'll keep the romantic movies for myself and whatever else. Okay, well, that is this video. I hope you enjoyed it. This has been a ton of fun. I hope you're learning some things. Now you should go right now and create those lists and figure out what's in your middle bubble, and maybe set some goals of things that you can do together. All right, thank you so much, and I look forward to sharing the next video with you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.